Hey y'all, good evening. This is a check-in about how I've been doing with my depression. So I thought it'd be cool if I log like some of the things that I've been coping with in passing with the depression. Yes, it's a Friday night. Yes, I'm young. Yes, I should be turning up, but I'm not. I don't. I turn down. I don't turn up. But first of all, let's start here. I haven't had depression in so long. It's been a few years since I had a depression episode. That doesn't mean I don't have anxiety attacks. That doesn't mean I'm not triggered. Doesn't mean, that, I don't feel, deeply for things and stuff like that I go through every day over those past few years when I didn't have depression. But when I'm having depression, it's like the world keeps going, but I've stopped. It's like I'm exiting the world. But I created a little log here. And I wanted to touch on some of the things that it's like for me to cope with depression, what I've learned over the years, and about what I'm experiencing now. I have touched a little bit about on family drama being an issue in my life right now, and some other stuff like the pressure of all the work that I do and the creativity that I possess, that I want to do great things with my art, with my writing and stuff like that. And I take care in it. Takes time and energy to write and to write well. I'm rethinking ideas about producing my writing. But anyway, so one thing about coping with depression for me is like I'm regressing to a fetal habitat. And when I say that, it's like I literally am in fetal under the blanket. And it's like it's like an organic state of the beginning of something, the beginning of anything that I want it to be. I want my depression to have meaning. I want to make meaning out of it. I want to come out of it better. I want to come out of it stronger. Welcome, viewer. I want to come out of it more wiser. One thing about this depression, sometimes we get burnout and we get stopped in what we're doing, like work or taking care of the kids, our lifestyle, because God wants to humble us or God wants to give us a break. Or we burn out, like we just did too much and nothing's finished. But at least when I'm going through this right now, like everything that should be done is done, I feel like. I have been thinking about that, and I don't think there's anything that I left undone. So when I do go back to work, I could pick up where I left off and move forward where I need to go. So there's pain, a lot of nesting. Nesting for me is like having access to my food, my computer, my phone, and my beverages near me, on the bed with me. My chargers, everything has to be like in hand, in reach. I probably get up like 3 or 4 times, just use the bathroom, and when I'm up, I'm getting a beverage to bring, replenishing my beverage, or getting another snack, or picking up a little trash here and there. Sometimes I can't even do that, but I do it anyway while I'm up. It's hard to get up. I feel discouraged. I feel useless. I feel unmotivated. And when I feel useless, it's like I feel no good to anybody. Like I can't do for myself, and I can't do for other people either. And I feel bad when I have somebody that I care for, like as a caretaker, that I'm caring for, and they ask me to do something like track a package, and I can't. Like, I don't have the mental capacity to sit there and type in codes and numbers and web search and, respond. Sometimes I don't even have the capability of answering the phone. I get sad, triste. That's what we say in Spanish, triste. I get FOMO, fear of missing out on things. I had to miss a lot of work, things that, especially extracurricular work activities. Like, I'm an outreach coordinator, so I wanted to go to an event and and get network and like receive business cards and talk to people who I may have interest in their organizations, and seeing how we can collaborate and get things involved, and help the community, help the field do what we do. And I can't even do that. And I feel really guilty about that. And that's another thing with depression, is the guilt that comes with it. So the fear of missing out is a big thing. Like, if something's coming up, like say we have a Sunday family dinner coming up and I'm already depressed and it's Friday, I get so, like, it's a form of anxiety. Welcome, viewer. It's a form of anxiety, but it's more like I want to go and I don't know if I can make it because of the depression, because it's so hard to just get up in the morning. I haven't been getting up at 5 a.m. When I get up at 5 a.m. and stuff like that and start my day, that's a good day. That's a really good day for me. And when I'm sleeping until after 12:30 in the day, consistently over a period of days, I get very, I feel guilty. I feel guilty for not being able to get up. I feel guilty for not getting things done, things that I have to do for other people, especially, and things that I have to do for myself. So one thing y'all should know about me, as much of a spiritual person that I am, you know how they say people should wake up and thank God that they woke up every morning. So because I dealt with SI, I'll just keep it that way, so that, people who know, they know, and who don't, I mean, look it up, maybe, I don't know. But battling with SI since I was 8 years old, when I wake up, I thank God for waking me up, okay? I usually thank God for giving me another day to accomplish things. So if I wake up in the morning and I can't get out of bed to do what I have to do, I am not thankful for that. I don't, for me personally, what I think about, especially in depression, right? I'm just keeping it real with y'all. One thing I feel like is like, yeah, it's easy for me to thank God when I get up and I know I have a task, I have an agenda, I have a mission, I have things that I need to get done, where I could be useful, and where, I could be, successful in doing something for the day, whether that's sending emails, making phone calls, making connections, and things like that for work, or doing favors for family members. I'm grateful for that. I am. But when I wake up and I have no purpose and I have nothing to do for the day, or I have things to do for the day and I can't do it, for me, that's just not it. Like, I'm not going to be sitting here and lying to y'all and making it seem like something is or it's not. I don't thank God for waking me up just to be alive. I thank God for giving me something to do, giving me a purpose for the day. So when I don't complete my goals of the day, I feel really disconnected with God. I still talk to him throughout the day, and I do pray for strength, and I do ask the universe to get me out of the bed, or get me up so I can make phone calls at least and do what I have to do. So there's that. During this depression, I'm like, is this a punishment? Like, is the universe punishing me, or are they putting me on rest? Because I've done so much this year, and I've gone through so much this year. Like, it's crazy. There's a lot of stuff that I can't tell y'all because it's really personal. Like, my finances, what's going on with that, for example, or stuff that might be going on in my relationship. I can't, and I tell y'all sometimes what's going on in my family and stuff like that. But there's some stuff I just can't talk about that I'm going through. And it's like it's hitting me from all angles. So I'm like, damn, I know over the summer I said some things and I did some things. And like, I believe in instant karma. I believe in karma in general. And I feel like, okay, damn, maybe did I say something or do something this summer or this year to warrant this punishment? And if so, I don't really care what it was. You don't have to tell me. But it's like, am I being punished or am I being put on rest? So there's the punishment part. So now being put on rest is more like I worked hard. I did everything I was supposed to do. I'm moving at light speed to get everything done and keeping everything organized and meticulous. And so now the universe is like, you need to take a break. So I don't know. I feel like maybe right now, after this week, since Monday started, when I started, recognizing that this could be a depression that I haven't had in a long time, I started making phone calls to my work and seeing if I can get some extra time off, and if I could afford to take time off, because my finances are a little like low right now. So that made me feel good though, to be able to call and say, hey, this is what I'm going through. And the way that y'all could support me is if, I get some time off and things like that. So maybe the universe is resting me because I feel better now. But again, I felt like I was being punished. Another thing is feeling lonely when you're not alone. Just feel like it's me under the blanket in fetal. We're going to go back to that. I'm regressed to fetal, and I'm under the bed and under my blanket. And my fiance is right there. My mom's a call away. My sister's a call away. But I'm just sitting there like, they're not going to understand or want to talk to me about this or help me through this. That's what makes it feel like a punishment when, I'm going through a hard time and I can't really express to people in a way that they can understand. Like, I can express it all day, but I'm not expressing it in a way that they can understand. And that's what makes me mostly feel lonely, though I'm not alone. Let's talk about appetite. Well, I'm on medication, diabetic medication that curbs my appetite, but y'all also know I've been practicing my Ayurvedic healthful eating lifestyle, which is when you eat seasonal, what's in season and stuff like that. And I also have stopped eating meat, for at least for now, but I can't tolerate meat and processed foods. We've had this conversation. I've been drinking a lot of brews. My turmeric, my ginger, my pomegranate, my boiled apples, my cinnamon, all these things, and it's doing great for my diabetes, and I'm hopeful that I might be able to reverse it for a while. Thank you, Shane. Let me read what you said. Become thankful for your rest and nest. You're listening to your body, and that's okay. Rest and digest. Sounds like you experience survival mode. Active your parasympathetic nervous system in any way you know how. I get it. I sometimes feel guilty for nesting, but you gotta do what you gotta do. Take care. You are loved. Thank you, Shane. I love you too, buddy, old pal. And I hope to see you soon. Maybe when the weather gets nice again, as we usually do. So yeah, my appetite. Today I made some vegetarian soup. My husband got me out of the bed. My fiance, husband, whatever you want to call him. My bae. We woke up on Monday, and I was supposed to cook Sunday dinner, but I ended up not being able to get up, and everybody had their own means of food. So I was like, okay, cool. If everybody can have access to food and nobody really needs a meal from me, then I can relax and I'll just make my soup, because I wanted vegetarian soup. So I made this cool veggie soup. I was going to film it, but I didn't. But it's a little hearty. I like my soup with a lot of broth, but I like so many things in them. So I like cherry tomatoes in my soup. I put green beans. I put sweet corn. I put some ripe plantain. Well, ripe plantain or sweet plantain in there. I put a couple of slices of sweet potato in there, celery, mushrooms, and I tried a new thing. I put in some tofu that I had soaked in soy sauce. My first time ever making tofu or adding tofu to anything. And I soaked it in soy sauce for 2 days. And I chopped it up and all that, and I threw it in the soup, and it was mushrooms. I don't know if I mentioned mushrooms. Oh, and there's also some mixed peppers, red, green, and yellow peppers in there. And the chicken broth was phenomenal. I also topped it off with some cilantro, and that was really good. So I made that, and I also shared it with my brother and my husband, and we all enjoyed that. They wanted chicken in there, so I was able to get some chicken on the side for them, some spicy chicken and some regular chicken, whatever they wanted, and to add to their soup. So I ate that today. So like I said, I had 2 bananas. I ate that. Oh, I also ate the soup with the banana muffin. But after I ate the 2 bananas, I was fine. Not a banana muffin, a blueberry muffin. So after I ate the 2 bananas, I was fine. I had some ginger ale this morning. Now I'm having, because I was a little nauseous. So now I'm having some diet orange soda. I could have some tea and some brew to help me cleanse and purge. I'm still trying to master my brew for that particular need of needing to purge and have a bowel movement. So I drink prune juice for that. I just learned about senna, and people say be careful with senna, so I'm being careful with it. I'm also taking Colaze, which I might reduce or stop taking it because it doesn't work by itself, but it works. It gets a little like too much happening. So I kind of figured out, okay, let me try to drink 2 brews with like less than less than half a cup of senna with mint leaves. I put chia seeds. I put star anise seeds. I put lemon and a little bit of garlic in there. And I think that was it. And I drank 2 cups of those. And I had 2 cups of warmed prune juice. And yeah, it was straight. So that might be the kicker. But I'm going to try another little concoction and see whatever. So we're still talking about appetite, you guys. And I have no appetite. So I was forcing myself to eat my soup with the blueberry muffin because I have to take a particular medication, and I don't like to take that medication on an empty stomach. And if I really want to take that medication now, okay, the first thing I need to be thinking about is eating. So, and then when I eat, that's something that satisfies me because I have a really interesting conflict about food and eating, especially when I'm depressed. Like, if I don't know what I want to eat, that causes me to have a little bit of anxiety. If I don't know what's in there to eat, what I want to eat, or if it's in there or I don't have it, it gives me anxiety. So I try to think ahead of the day before meal times. Okay, what am I going to eat today? How much of it am I going to eat? What I'm in the taste for? What am I in the mood for? And then there's this thing where sometimes I could think something's good for me, like, a pizza, and then I get the pizza and I don't want it. Or I can get the pizza and I eat it, and then after I feel guilty for eating it. I also feel guilty about wasting food sometimes. I have a thing that I do, a ritual around food that needs to be disposed of, food that didn't get eaten, stuff like that. So there's that. That's the appetite thing. There used to be a point where it was like eating too much, gorging. For some people, that's their depression. They can't stop eating. They lay in the bed or sit on the sofa and they eat and eat and eat and eat and eat. Some people sit on the sofa all day and they eat and eat and eat and eat, and then they go throw up and throw up and throw up. That's not really my style. But there has been episodes of depression that I have that I did binge, eat, and gorge. So there's that. Failed ADLs. Let's coin that term. Failed ADLs. ADLs are activities of daily living. That's when you get up in the morning. I'm going to show you my activities of daily living. This is pretty much like the standard. You wake up in the morning. You open your eyes. You see how you feel. Am I well rested? Am I tired? Can I use some more sleep? Can I afford to get some more sleep? Like, do I have extra time to get another 30 minutes in? And, then you be like, okay, thank God for the day. Thank God for waking me up. Thank the universe, right? And you put your feet on the floor, and then you go in there and you get your cup of tea, your cup of coffee. You wash your face, you brush your teeth, or you take a shower. You use the facilities, and you come out, you get dressed for the day and stuff like that. So that's activities of daily living, and mine's have been interrupted because I'm not even waking up at 5 a.m. in the morning, or even 6, or even 8. I'll take it 8 a.m. But when I do, I've just been rolling over and going back to sleep lately because of the depression. But failed activities of daily living. See, the thing about activities of daily living is they set the tone for your day. They set the tone for what you how your day is gonna flow. You know what I mean? It sets the energy tone, like it sets the vibration of like how this day is gonna be managed and run. What attitude are you gonna have? What mindset are you gonna stay in and focus? What kind of focus are you gonna have? And so when I fail to do ADLs, like there's nothing else to do. I have to do that first. You see what I'm saying? So if I can't do the ADL, it's like, how am I going to do the rest of the day? I can't skip that step. When I do skip that step, it's not, it's not beneficial to me. So let's call that failed ADLs, activities of daily living. And that's why they're important. What else we have on my notes? Yeah, the ADLs keep you grounded. It also it makes you stick to the routine. It's like, I don't know if the word is autonomy or something, but it kind of like, it's like a repetitive thing, a consistency that has to happen. Anyway, another way I be feeling is like disillusioned, I guess is the word. Feeling like the things around me are not real. It's like a form of daydreaming. The daydreaming is like when you're depressed and you're just in fetal and you're laying under the blanket or laying on the sofa and you are thinking about all the things you need to be doing right now and fantasizing yourself doing them. You are thinking about all the things on your list that you have to get done that you're not doing. And what you're doing is just sitting there, welcome viewer, you're sitting there and you're imagining yourself doing it in a way that you're trying to get the universe to give you a leg up to even start or attempt to try to do these things. And that might not just happen that way. So it's kind of like daydreaming, I guess. What else? The lack of focus. So I want to watch movies and shows to relax as my coping skill. And what happens is I keep rewinding because here we are daydreaming in our alternate world, another movie in our head as we're trying to watch TV to take our mind off of things. Can't necessarily take your mind off of it. Okay, so the lack of focus is what really gets to me because I know what I need to be doing and I can't, and there's another thing, like my mother had to keep telling me that with my condition, I believe I can do things that I really can't, like in my idea, like I think I told y'all this a while ago. There's this thing where people have these ideas of how things in life should work, how things in the world should work, in their mind, how they think it work, but that's not the reality of it. People think it's like, oh yeah, I'm going to just buy a car, but you have to have a permit and then you have to have a license to be able to drive that car legally, and you need to have insurance. Like, in their mind, it's like, oh yeah, I'm just going to buy a car and I'm just going to drive. But it's like, in reality, you have to pay for insurance. You have to pay for registration. You have to pay for your inspection sticker. You need to pay for your gas. You need to buy the car anyway. You need to have a license. So you have to go to the proper channels, and that's the reality of it. But in somebody else's mind, in their idea of the reality of it, it's different. So I don't know why I was talking about that. Here we go again with the lack of focus. So depression is also a good time to reassess your goals. Depression is also a good time to press the reset button. Like I said, you want to come out of your depression with strength and motivation and new ideas of how you're going to do things differently so that this doesn't happen again anytime soon. Let's say that, because it's going to happen again. But how can we delay that? And what can we get done before it happens again? You know, let's reassess our goals. Which one thing I did find a goal that I wanted to reassess, and I'm embarrassed to share with y'all, so I'll just give you an idea of it. It's like, basically, I want to do something that I've been saving up money for, separate from my wedding. And before I even got engaged, I was saving this money because I wanted to go on a trip somewhere. But I realized, I'm like, I can't really afford to go on this trip to that place in the time of what I'm saving for when I want to go. So that doesn't mean I can't travel somewhere else. So that was a revelation. That was a way of reassessing my goals, because I feel like I do need a real vacation, like a vacation, not a staycation, to get my mind off of things and to focus on things that I have neglected. So another thing with depression is you got to do one thing at a time. Now, the formula for one thing at a time is to have an aftercare plan. That's what I call it, an aftercare plan. So, for me, I have this really powerful thing that I do to prevent anxiety for me. Before I get up, especially when you're depressed, this works. Before I get up out of the bed, I need to know what I need to do. What am I getting out of the bed for? To get a drink. Okay. After I get that drink, then what am I going to do? Am I going to get back in the bed and watch a movie? Or am I going to get something to drink and start picking up some paperwork off the table and reorganizing them or something? Basically, the point is, with the aftercare plan is that before I do what I want to do right now, I have to think about what I want to do after that. Staying 5 to 10 steps ahead of myself. Because if I do one thing and I don't have anything to follow up with that, I get worried and I get anxiety. Especially when I forget things that I may have to do. So that kind of ties into that. So that's the one thing at a time thing, is with the depression, you got to have a goal to be, okay, I'm going to go in there and make me a cup of tea. And then I'm going to use the restroom while I'm up. And then before I get back into bed, I'm going to reorganize my blanket, my comforter set, so I can get into bed and be comfortable the way I want. So my blankets are not all scrunched up and bunched up and stuff like that. So that helps me stay grounded, and it gives me motivation because of the small things I can do. Like I said, my husband had to motivate me to get me out of the bed on Monday to make the soup, and I ended up also being able to wash the dishes. So that was cool. But with the one thing at a time and the aftercare plan is a good formula for me to stay grounded and balanced in, what I have to do. Another thing I deal with is feeling guilty and feeling vulnerable. I feel guilty about the strangest things. Like when I'm depressed, in my mind, one of the things that I think about is the times that people have told me no. The other things that I feel guilty about is the times I have said no. Another thing that makes me feel guilty is when I haven't done something that needed to be done, or I cut a corner on something that needed to be done, or something I didn't do right. Now, this can be about stuff that happened 5 years ago or yesterday, and it is a lot. And the guilt makes you feel so vulnerable that it's like a victim to the guilt, you know. Welcome, viewer. So feeling vulnerable to my guilt, and my guilt attacking me of things that don't really matter, but it's just weird because it's things that I'm starting to remember. I'm remembering that time that person told me no. That's making me feel guilty. I remember that time I said no, and that's what's making me feel guilty. So all those things I listed making me feel vulnerable, and when I feel vulnerable, I feel weak, and I feel really like I feel like I know I'm strong and I know I can handle everything because I have been, but look at where it got me. It got me stuck in the bed, in chronic pain, not being able to focus. And, the chronic pain is what made me depressed. And I talked to y'all about it last week, and I have followed up with a pain management doctor. I'm getting doctor's letters and, advocating for myself the best I can to get some type of pain management that is good for me. I don't want medication. I want my massages back, or I want some acupuncture or something like that. I don't want physical therapy because me and my primary care already established that I don't need to be stretching or anything like that. Carrying bags, no. Going to the grocery market, no. I have been having my groceries delivered for the past 2 months. The first time I ever had my groceries delivered, so that was pretty cool. Was 2 months ago, and I've been doing that every other week. Some stuff I have to get up and get myself because this one particular store that I go to get my fresh fruits and vegetables, I have to pick those myself, obviously, because you want to get the ones that the ripeness or the freshness of that particular item that you want. Let's talk about medication. Oh, I have a bungle of medication. I take medication 3 to 4 times a day. I have stuff that I have to take in the day, have stuff I have to take at night, and I have stuff that I can take as needed. This is including vitamins, allergy medication, diabetic medication, psych meds, and I think that's pretty much all the meds that I take. And I have to take medication 3 to 4 times a day. I'm on a regimen. And the medication works. Like, if you can find a medication for you that works, I guarantee you will be increasing your quality of life. For a person that has depression or schizophrenia or bipolar, whatever you're going through with mental health, medication is not for everybody. We make that clear. Medication is not for everybody, but for people who do need medication, they find medication that works for them, you should definitely take you should definitely take them every day. It's important, to your health. I know I've had a better quality of life for, I guess, since 2017, 2018. I have been having a better quality of life from taking the medication that they put me on my cocktail. You should have a nurse practitioner or prescribing doctor that understands your needs and respects your needs. If you tell them that you're having symptoms of something like, or you're shaking, you're having tremors, or you're having migraines, or you're having light sensitivity, you're supposed to tell your prescribing doctor and allow them to adjust what it is, whatever medication it is that's doing that, bring it down or taper you off or take you off of it completely. If they don't know that you're having side effects and symptoms, they won't be able to help you. Therefore, you will not be able to help yourself. Don't just say, oh, this medication is making my stomach hurt, so I'm just going to stop taking it. Like, no, tell your doctor, like, yeah, you can stop taking it, but tell your doctor, like, hey, it's making my stomach hurt. Tell them what it's working for. Whatever medication you're taking and it's working, tell them that too. Tell them what is working for you. Tell them what the medication does for you. That's very important. So we're wrapping it up now. Actually, there's another thing I want to do. So with depression, it's like this thing. What I put on my log, I put, let's pick our poison in depression. Now, what I mean by picking our potion, I mean picking our poison. That means, are you going to drugs and alcohol? Some people get depressed and want to drink and drink, or, get high. Or is your poison movies? Mine's is movies and series and binge watching. Is food your poison? Is porn your poison? Is alcohol your poison? So let's pick our poisons wisely, which are like coping skills, Like I said, I like watching movies. Sometimes music helps too, but I need some new playlists. Right now, music is not my go-to. Writing can also be a poison. Talking, group therapy, exercise. Some people get depressed and exercise. Whatever your poison is, you're going to have to pick it and pick it wisely. That's all I can say about that. So I'll end it with this. We want to come out of our depression with sharp recovery. I mean, you want to allow it to take its course. In order to do that, you have to allow it to take its course. When you're going through depression, admit that to yourself or somebody else that you are battling depression, right? Once you accept it, the best thing you can do is don't get mad at yourself because it's not going away when you expect it to. Allow yourself to be in fetal. Allow yourself to regress to that childlike place where you are vulnerable and you may need help and you can ask for help, but you might not get it. So sometimes that makes it a little harder. But allow it to run its course. Allow it to take the week. Allow it to take 2 months. I know. Unfortunately, some people have to work so hard and they have 3 kids and they're a single mom or a single dad, or their husband or their wife is not working, and so they have no choice but to have depression and show up for work every day. I understand that's a reality for some people, but if you can, do the best you can to just do what you can do. And whatever you can't do at the time, for whatever reason, the depression or the physical pain or whatever, don't do it. And be okay with that. Like my mother said, we believe that we can do things that sometimes we really can't. And I had to learn and accept that about, my mental health and my condition. Like, I think I can do everything and I can't. And it sucks because I'm like, yeah, I can walk up this hill. No, I'm paying for it. The next day. I'm in bed for 2 weeks because I walked up a damn hill when I knew I wasn't supposed to. Or carried heavy grocery bags when I wasn't supposed to. Or walked up the stairs at a place. I went to a place and there's an elevator, but I took the stairs. Now I'm in bed for a week paying for it because I wasn't supposed to do that. So just some recognize, let's stay in our lane. Let's know what is what and what is not. So I mean, that's pretty much what I logged. There was one last thing. Oh, part of the guilt is reflecting on my hypocrisy. Now, reflecting on my hypocrisy looks like what I said earlier with the guilt. Things that my personality defects, put it that way, right? And I'm reflecting on things that I be like, oh, I don't do that, or somebody says to me, or I might be watching something like, oh, I'm not like that, and I wouldn't say that, or wouldn't do that. And for some reason, when I'm depressed and feeling guilty and vulnerable, I start having all these memories about times where I was a hypocrite, and we are all hypocrites as part of the human condition, but I try my best to be less hypocritical as I can, the least hypocritical as I can in my life. I want to stand on my square and mean what I say and say what I mean and do what I say I'm going to do and stand on my square. This is another thing that, really grinds my gears. So, yeah, that's me coping with depression right now. I feel at peace, like I said, now that I advocated for support from my job and advocated for support from my family, and in whatever way they respond to me asking for support. Like, here we go with the dating, with the diagnosis, the relationships around us, and our recovery. I can't change them. I can't stop people from calling me the B word. I can't stop people from saying I'm being disrespectful when I'm not. I can't stop people from assuming I said something to them that I never said. I can't argue with people. I refuse to argue with people, so I have to reassess that too. Like, the relationships around me, I can't change what they say to me and how they treat me, but I can change the way I respond. And before, I just wasn't responding, and now it's like I want to respond, but I just don't. Like, I can't, because it's so stupid. It's very stupid, the stuff people try to throw my way. They always want to reach for the God. They always want to reach for baby God. They always want to reach for the star. So it's like, it's a friggin' headache, because I want to be like, no, don't talk to me that way, but I can't stop them. So I just keep taking losses for the ego, to protect the egos of others. I'm not doing that no more. Now, well, I was already doing this, but I already have boundaries in place. It's not a matter of that. It's just my boundaries have to evolve as my recovery evolves. You know what I mean? So our boundaries with our relationships have to, with our relationship with ourselves as it pertains to relationships with others, is we have to evolve and set new boundaries moving forward to protect ourselves while dealing with the people around us. If that makes sense to some people, I hope you got it. You also have the choice to cut people completely out of your life. I don't want to cut these people out of my life. I just want boundaries. So here we go again, reassessing goals. It all comes full circle. So yeah, with this depression, I'm going to let it play out. Usually I try to push myself to go to work and stuff like that, but this is different. This is very different. I'm fighting the insurance companies. I'm fighting my doctor. I'm not really like physically fighting. I'm just like, I have to, fight for things that I need to have the best quality of life that I deserve to live after growing up in so much pain from my allergies, my traumatic brain injury, and my eczema dermatitis, and being hospitalized over and over again for allergies or for mental health and stuff like that. Like, I have everything I need to have the best quality of life I need for me. And I am grateful for that every day. Even if I ain't grateful for waking up, I am grateful for everything that I have overcome through God's mercy and grace. And I don't know, I want to come out the other side of this just ready to work and in my zone and being creative. And, so being depressed is not really a bad thing. It's just a pause button. It's a pause button. You can eventually come out of it, and you can either pick up where you left off, or you can start something completely new. It's really up to you. So I'll leave y'all with that. This is my experience while I'm coping with